Help me get rid of my hiccups. Quote, when I, now 30F, was about 18, my family and I were all hanging around the living room after dinner. My dad suddenly got a pretty bad case of the hiccups and, like any dad would, turned to me and my little sister and said, "Quick, someone scare me." Quote, my little sister, of course, jumped up and yelled, "Boo," in a silly voice, but of course, that did nothing since he was expecting it. That's when I looked my father dead in the eyes and flatly said, "I'm pregnant." His face suddenly turned serious as he held my gaze. "That's not funny," he said. I shrugged. "No. But I bet your hiccups are gone." They were. Best part is that I was a very by-the-book, straight-laced kid in high school who didn't party, drink, do drugs or even date due to a lot of religious reasons I held to very tightly at the time. I was an extremely awkward tomboy who read excessively, watched anime, collected swords, played Halo poorly, and was considered one of the guys in my circle of friends. So the fact that this would even remotely scare my dad was insanely ironic. Edit. OMG. I didn't expect all the likes and awards. Thank you, kind strangers. Glad you enjoyed the story. It's a favorite of mine to tell. I used to work with a guy who, when someone had hiccups, would immediately turn around and say, "I'll give you £50 if you hiccup again." Not once did I see him have to pay the £50. It worked literally every single time he did it. Years later I attempted it on someone. It did not work. I had a terrible case of hiccups after surgery. The surgery was a thyroidectomy with a fairly long gash in my throat. I was miserable. My doctor at the time told my wife she was going to prescribe me something, but not to look it up on the internet. Then she told her why. It was an antipsychotic, but they had found it to be incredibly effective for hiccups. I didn't care. After several hours of this, I was in tears with the pain. They stopped within 20 minutes of taking the pill. When I next went to see my doctor, she asked if those pills helped with the hiccups. I told her that not only did it stop the hiccups almost immediately, I didn't hear those voices anymore. She just dropped her head and shook it along with melodramatic sigh. My sister sent me, at that time F16, a letter in a joke envelope that was stamped "Confidential. Pregnancy test results." My grandmother streamed open the envelope before I got back from school. Boy, was she pissed off to find a letter that started with, "Hi Nan. It's just a joke." Ew. I felt that cold hush that must have swept across the room the moment you said it. Perfect execution. Same premise. I had hiccups bad, hours and painful. My girlfriend told me she was pregnant. The next part wasn't planned. I told her I loved her. I'd be with her. I'd marry her. Any decision I would stand with her and love her. She cried. She told me that she did it just to help me get rid of hiccups. But what I learned is, if your girl knows you'll be with her in that situation, their devotion toward you also changes. People talk about how great make-up sex is. Try, she knows I'll be with her if she gets pregnant sex. I tried to April Fool's my mom with a pregnancy scare. She just looked at me, sighed, and reminded me that I came out as a lesbian earlier that year. When I was in high school, I had a really bad case of the hiccups during math class. It had been going on for over half the period and was getting kind of embarrassing. My teacher decided to take matters into her own hands. She walked toward the cabinet that was right next to me. She opened it and pretended to grab something. When I wasn't looking, she yelled. The best part was, she got the person sitting next to me better than she got me. He was taking a drink from his water bottle and spilled a good chunk of it on his shirt. I don't know if it was the fright or the ensuing laughter that cured the hiccups. Nice story. Well told. When I was about 30, I took a job in an office. My predecessor, a friend from a previous job who had referred me for this one, was leaving because she was pregnant with her second high-risk pregnancy. She got the job the same way, when her predecessor became pregnant with a high-risk pregnancy. When they hired me, they asked if there was anything they could get for me. I requested, as a joke, a new chair. Everyone laughed and said haha. Clever. The following April Fool's Day, I decided to play a joke and tell them I was pregnant. For the record, I was not. I thought it was a funny joke that I would do it on that day. Somehow, word got out to the wrong people. On April Fool's Day, I was treated to my first and only baby shower with cake and presents. Everyone knew I wasn't pregnant, but we were all having a little bit of fun, with the exception of a couple gag gifts that were actually company property, i.e., a gas mask for changing diapers. I kept all the presents. I had the hiccups when I went into a small grocery store with my friend. Upon stepping foot into the store, I told my friend to scare me. The other customer in the store heard it and jokingly tried to scare me. Felt both amused and embarrassed at the same time. I found a great way to cure hiccups. Simply ask them to tell you the next time they're about to hiccup. They'll think about it, and their hiccups will magically be gone. If you get good at it, you can easily do it on yourself. I've really weirded out some people at work with my mystery hiccup cures. If anything, your dad must be so sweet to have been that concerned over an obvious lie. Ha. My kid did something similar to me. Gads. Was that 8 years ago? 9? He was about 17-ish? I guess, and as a family, we had one of those 4 people, 4 dozen things to do before everybody is expected to be somewhere on time and dressed nicely kind of days. And I was running on no sleep. We were rushing across the Target parking lot, and I'm giving him the rundown of the plan. Who's doing what, where and when, and finished it with, quote, ... and you're keeping me awake. And he paused briefly, waiting for the maximum number of witnesses, and said loudly, Mom, I'm gay. My son is not gay. But if he was, he's the kind of kid that would have matter-of-factly blurted it out exactly like that. Only at age 9 in front of Granny's entire church choir. And then run off like, okay, that's done. He's so good at it. He just figured he had 11 fingers and no nose and less than shrug? For years. Best dad-daughter pair ever. I always got told to put my head in the pool 3 times and take it out twice, come back in 10 minutes. When I was in elementary, there was a teacher that would stand you in front of the class and ask you to hiccup if someone got it. It cured everyone. Bananas. Have the hiccups that are not too much food in your gorge related? Eat a banana, as the potassium boost will calm the muscle spasm pretty much immediately. My husband has the stupidest cure that works. He just says, you can stop hiccuping anytime you want. It's stupid because it works. I was at a friend of mine's house and suddenly when we were watching a movie I had the hiccups and I started complaining about it. So she pauses the movie, turns to me and goes, you ever ride a horse? So I answer and we talk about it for a few minutes and then while I am mid-sentence I stop and ask, wait, why did you pause just to ask me if I have ever rid a horse before? And she says, because you Wanted your hiccups gone, and resumes the movie. My mom pissed me off and got rid of my hiccups. For my 9th and 10th grade year of school, they sent me off to some shoebox-sized place to live with my cousin because they felt like they couldn't control me. They lied to me that I'd be helping out babysitting, and because of this, I was always treated poorly but never knew why. Everyone knew the truth except for me. My cousin's wife, I'll call her CB, was especially nasty towards me. She'd complain about how it smells when I cook. One time my teacher picked me up to see a play for extra credit and I got in trouble for getting home 5 minutes late. Anyway, I was finally home after being mentally abused at that place and one day had the hiccups. My mom casually says, "Hey, I talked to CB and she told me that you did something." I got heated right away and demanded to know what it was. My mom starts cracking up and says she was just kidding to help me get rid of my hiccups.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.